Now please welcome our first student speaker, Kaitlyn.
This is approximately my 540th day here at Trottier, yet it seems like just yesterday that I first stepped through the double doors into a seemingly whole new world. I was so worried about getting lost, and now, being able to navigate through Algonquin will be just short of a miracle. We've had our fair share of homework overloads, overwhelming tests, and impossible due dates. Looking around though, I know we survived what once seemed like an immense challenge, and after all, the good memories certainly outweigh the bad. Do you remember years ago when your mom took you back to school shopping? I can still feel my jittery feet as a salesperson struggled to fit a pair of sneakers over my anxious toes. Once they were laced up, the shoes seemed to shine as bright as the sun. The canvas, so clean, pure, and innocent, eased me through the transition from elementary school to middle school. And as I hopped off the bus into a slight drizzle, I looked down to see my feet making my first impression at Trottier, a muddy footprint from my new sneaker onto the gleaming white tile of the hallway. Next thing I knew, my footprint was covered up by those of friends and complete strangers that I would soon get to know. Whether shoe size 9 or size 3, we all shared a nervous excitement that seemed to be buzzing around over our heads. By then, the color of the tiles had turned to a murky brown, and my footprint was no longer visible. But I knew that it was, and always would remain there, changing as I grew. My sneakers came with me to all of my 6th grade classes, met my teachers, and got well accustomed to dodging people while meandering through the halls. They sat attached to my feet when fall came and crunched through the leaves that had drifted to the ground. When stone rolled around, my sneakers sat on top of my suitcase, accompanying me on my first overnight field trip. Still white, they matched the color of Jumping Jenny's hair. Later, while walking through the woods with my group at Stone, my left foot felt a splash, and I looked down to find the front tip of my sneaker go from white to brown. Just to make it even, I stuck my right foot in the puddle as well. I soon noticed that as the year progressed, my shoes got more comfortable, and at the same time, we were getting more used to middle school. In the blink of an eye, the 6th graders were competing for the amount of yearbook signatures they can get. Then, just like that, I substituted my sneakers for flip-flops and was off to the beach. My mom tried to get me a new pair of sneakers for 7th grade, but I blatantly refused. However, after lacing them up for the first time in months, I noticed that the laces were fraying around the edges, and the grips on the bottom of the soles had worn away. They were starting to mold to my feet, and enjoyed returning to the familiar hallways of Trottier. In 7th grade, we were stuck right in the middle, the peanut butter of the sandwich. We kept the pieces of bread together, but also closed the gap that separated them. No longer the youngest of the school, we gained freedom, knowledge, and maturity. But still, the Trottier class of 2009 was clearly looking forward to being the leaders of the school. On the morning of my first day of middle school, I could not help but notice how my fully beat up, not even white anymore sneakers totally clashed with my outfit. Yet no matter how hard I tried, I could not bear to part with them. The uncomfortably stiff new shoe feeling had vanished without a trace. Even though my toe was ready to poke through the fabric and one of the laces was half chewed off by my dog, they completed my middle school journey. My sneakers were wide awake at 3 a.m. to board the plane to Washington, D.C. They stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and they used to be white shoes walked by the White House. It seems as though my memories from Trottier are glued onto those sneakers, for they traveled everywhere I went. And now, standing here, I realize that just as my shoes have become almost too comfortable, I will grow out of them and have to get a new pair. Just as we got into the groove of middle school, we find ourselves ready for a change and a hopefully smooth transition to high school. Looking back on our time at Trottier, it all seems like a blur of homework, tests, and classes. But these last 3 years have also been a journey, as a class, a grade, and especially as an ever-changing, ever-improving school. Next year, we will be mixed in with hundreds of new faces, and our class as a whole will only grow stronger. We will hear our final Trottier bell today, which will ring in just a few short hours. But it seems more likely that pigs will fly than this greatly anticipated moment will approach. And at 11:25 today, the past will have ended, but the future will have just begun. So, 8th graders, take your sneakers that have endured just about everything for the past 3 years and put them in the back of your closet. But don't forget them because they will always be there, similar to your first footprint into middle school.
Thank you very much. We have many